This is wonderful. It is glorious. It is historic, beautiful, and located right here in Southern California.
We're back, and welcome
to Riverside, California, and the historic Mission Inn,
which for its 30th year, depending on how you count,
is having its annual Festival of Lights for the holidays.
This is Christmas on an epic and historic scale,
and is consistently voted one of the best Christmas displays in the country. And it's located right here in downtown Riverside, just about 50 miles from Los Angeles, California, and just 37 miles or so east of Disneyland. Now, the Mission Inn is enormous. It takes up a whole city block and change, and is a truly important and historic part of Riverside, California,
because in fact its original incarnation was a simple adobe home
built all the way back in the mid-1870s by a man named Christopher Columbus Miller, who, along with his wife and their 4 children, rented out the extra rooms in the house
as a simple old Western-style hotel.
However, after he passed, when his son Frank Miller took over the business, he began, with the help of some wealthy backers like Henry Huntington, people like that, for example, to build something on a much more epic scale. And in 1902, construction began on the grand, the opulent, the incredible Mission Inn that we know today, now containing well over 200 rooms and suites, grand ballrooms, classy restaurants and bars, chapels, artifacts, and more stairways and hidey holes than you can possibly imagine.
And the building itself, which is an architectural treasure, now being over 100 years old.
The Mission Inn is quite a sight to see at any time of the year,
but it becomes an especially dazzling, incredible sight during Christmas
and the Festival of Lights.
Now, being a Southern California native my entire life,
it's hard to believe, but I've only actually been to the Mission Inn one other time ever. We came down here in 2020 with my friend Ken Stack to explore the hotel and see all of the holiday lights.
But unfortunately that year, because of the pandemic,
there was no Festival of Lights. And so finally now, after a lifetime of waiting, I've checked into the hotel to enjoy the holiday cheer and see what all the fuss is about.
Before we take a closer look, though, I gotta go up to the room
and retrieve my fiancée, Allie,
and then we'll let the exploration begin.
Oh my gosh, this place is so incredible. Even just the main lobby itself is so gorgeous and unbelievably decorated. And as you can see, very popular for the holidays.
What's weird is it smells very much
like the Disneyland Hotel at Disneyland Paris
during its Christmas season.
And just like in Disneyland Paris, they have got an absolutely massive gingerbread house. Look at the size of this thing. Not only could a human being fit inside of that thing, but if you look inside, there's a little Christmas tree and a fireplace and a whole bunch of Christmas elves. The whole exterior is all built out of gingerbread bricks.
It's absolutely incredible.
Now on the wall back here, you may notice some portraits. Those are the various United States presidents that the Mission Inn has hosted over the years. Teddy Roosevelt stayed here, Jack Kennedy stayed here, Richard Nixon was actually married in this hotel,
and the Gipper himself, Ronald Reagan,
honeymooned here. And, well, you know what I always say.
If it's good enough for the Gipper,
then it's good enough for me. It is hard to believe, looking at this hotel and its opulent architecture and its many historic artifacts and art treasures,
that this whole place was on the downslide once.
The rooms here were turned into apartments. They were nearly turned into dorms. And at one point, the entire Mission Inn was in serious danger of being demolished altogether. Luckily, in 1992, it was purchased by the hotel's current owners,
beautifully and painstakingly restored,
and is now once again a 4-star luxury hotel where we have actually got ourselves a room for the evening. Look at this room right here. This was the cheapest room we could get.
And the only room available for the rest of December, by the way.
And it is absolutely luxurious. Like I said, construction started on the current Mission Inn in 1902.
But there are so many wings, so many hallways, courtyards,
and towers that it took until the 1930s
before the main part of the construction ended.
Look at this, here's our view. And we even have one of the animatronic Christmas decorations on the outside of the building right on our little balcony out here.
This is actually kind of scary looking. Look at this lady.
Ooh. creepy.
I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first opened this little door here and saw a person outside, I was a little bit startled. Okay, one day I would definitely like to return to the Mission Inn, explore its history and many secret treasures, give you guys a room tour and focus on all the incredible architectural details. But tonight we are here for Christmas. It's time to zip up, head out, and see what's going on.
Now, if there's one thing that Allie loves more than cute Christmas things,
It's creepy old hotels.
and if that's what you're looking for, the Mission Inn has got your back all year round. Now, it's called the Mission Inn, partially, of course, because it's built in the Mission Revival style.
Here in Southern California at the turn of the last century,
When the citrus industry began booming and towns and cities began to spring up everywhere,
this new style of architecture representing the Spanish missions,
began to pop up everywhere, and it was selected because
they were trying to build something here that would be different
than, say, your typical downtown building from Chicago or Detroit, New York, anywhere else.
And boy, let me tell you, if there's one thing the Mission Inn is, it's different.
Not only does it take inspiration from the California missions, but also, of course, Spanish architecture.
And European architecture of all kinds.
And there's even a courtyard somewhere on the property with an Asian architectural influence that I haven't found yet.
Even with all of my wanderings on my previous visit.
Look at this. There are bridges over the street, beautiful narrow stairways and little doorways, creepy tiny cubby holes everywhere, stonework, brickwork, bell towers, and all kinds of crazy suites up on top of the building,
Gorgeous courtyards and carving statues.
beautiful fountains. Look at all the metalwork and crazy light fixtures and grills and grates. And right here in front of us, maybe best of all, the St. Francis of Assisi Chapel.
I mean, would you look at the size of just the doors?
This just looks like something straight out of old Spain.
And the inside is mind-blowing also, but unfortunately it's closed at the moment.
Look at this beautiful courtyard here. Just the St. Francis Chapel courtyard is gorgeous. There's poinsettias and lights. This alone would be incredible to visit, but it gets better. Oh, so much better. And just a few steps away.
Because check this out.
With just a few steps, you approach the main Mission Inn courtyard, and look at it. It's incredible. Look at the architecture, the spires, the archways, windows, the towers looming overhead, the balconies, and everywhere. Glorious, glorious light.
I've been to some beautiful places, Paris, London, New York.
Man-made places, you know, and this has to rank among the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen.
Look at over there across the courtyard.
Look at those old bells across the way. There are so many of them. 6, 7 bells over there. What's that called? A campanile that the bells are inside of? Check this out. Look across the glowing lights and all of those angels slowly, slowly moving, singing a heavenly choir song, which of course at this time of year must be heralding the birth of the Christ child
In a manger in Bethlehem. This is glorious.
Look at this incredible place. This by itself is amazing.
But there's so much more. We're not even finished going downstairs yet.
This place is so incredibly beautiful and so full of little architectural details. I mean, I can understand why it went out of fashion in the mid-century when everything was becoming modernist or brutalist, very simplistic. This sort of old world hodgepodge architecture from the 1900s and teens and 20s.
It's definitely no longer in vogue.
But it is so hard to imagine why that was ever the case when you look at this.
It's hard to believe this place was once derelict, unloved,
And about to be demolished. I mean, who in their right mind would want to demolish this? Behold, my friends, look at that view.
I mean, when you first hear that Pat and Richard Nixon wanted to get married out here,
Or that Ronald Reagan honeymooned out here, you think, why? Out in Riverside? Weird. But once you see the glorious views like this, once you explore the hotel, even for just a few glorious minutes,
you can see the attraction big time.
And the Mission Inn was built 100 years ago, and 100 years ago, it would have taken you 2 days to get out here from Los Angeles.
Bumpy, dusty roads, horse and carriage, that kind of thing, unless you took a train.
And you have to imagine it would have taken even longer and been an even more arduous trek if you were coming from the hinterlands, coming overland from the east.
And of course, from the rest of the United States to get to Southern California,
You are very much coming through the desert, and it would have taken you days and days through the desert back then, even on a train. So hotels back then were built with the idea that guests wouldn't be popping in just for an evening. These weren't just simple overnight stays. A guest to the Mission Inn in its heyday might stay for weeks or even a month. So not only did the rooms have to be large and comfortable,
but you wanted a lot of space at the hotel.
so that the guests could roam and wander, explore, mingle. And of course, you would want plenty of entertainment. That's why so many ballrooms and
Restaurants and dining rooms, that's why so much artwork was in the hotel.
And Frank Miller used a giant chunk of his wealth, I mean everything he made,
he'd throw back into the hotel
to collect art treasures from all over the old world and the new, to make sure that the Mission Inn was truly the greatest hotel possible
anywhere in Southern California.
Look at that. I bet Teddy Roosevelt didn't have to put up with helicopter noise up here, huh?
Dude, just look at how incredible this is.
We're on the top floor and you've got full-on multi-story towers and then this epic, gigantic circular courtyard,
Which I'm absolutely terrified to lean over.
that has a spiral staircase leading all the way down, down, down to the
I
bottom.
mean, you would never see them build anything like that today, anywhere.
I mean, look at this with the beautiful Christmas lights. It looks like something out of Pisa, something from Italy.
And then you lean back from peering over 6 stories down, and there's old Abraham Lincoln.
And why old, honest Abe peering down into this labyrinthine, beautiful, old world style thing?
Because this is America, baby.
And that's what we do best. Build epic weird stuff and celebrate our heroes. Look at that incredible dome right there. And just think, that doorway, that's a doorway to somebody's suite. They are all luxurious suites up here.
And you needed a lot of large suites because the original Glenwood Motel, that little adobe house that kept expanding into a bigger operation,
Started right at the beginning of the Gilded Age, and just 10 years after the Civil War.
you had a lot of new wealth being generated in America.
A lot of new wealth being built out here, out west.
And a big part of the clientele when they built the huge Mission Inn here
Were wealthy people coming from faraway places to check out and maybe invest in the citrus growing operations out here.
to say nothing of all the oil going on in Southern California a little bit later.
That is why this place could afford to be so crazy ornate. That is why you see all kinds of stained glass in the hotel, some done
by Tiffany's in New York, purpose built for this place.
and of course why they would have put in art treasures from all over the world, because the clients that would stay
Or
here.
of the highest tone variety.
Dude, look at this beautiful place. Look at that main central courtyard again. Let's just take a gander at that. Look at the layers, balconies and hallways, and look at all the wonderful decorations.
We've only come up here to the top floor where we can hear the helicopters very clearly.
Because this is where last year my friend Ken Stack had a suite right up here on the top. And I remember being so impressed by all these little chapel facades and statuary, relief carvings,
All these hallways, windows, fountains.
the archways, the domes. And I must tell you, the suites up here, and this one was my friend's, aren't bad either.
It's so crazy, I gotta tell you, Disneyland aside, this is the closest thing you can come to seeing a castle in Southern California.
And that's exactly what it reminds me of. It reminds me of being in France and going to castles or places like that where the
Safety, bars to keep you from falling off the edge are a little too low.
but there's all these incredible nooks and crannies and walkways and stairs, just layer after layer. I mean, look at this place. This is amazing. All right, well, I know Allie has to be getting cold at this point already. It's only about 40 degrees outside in Riverside tonight.
So we better head back down to where the bulk of the Christmas decorations are.
And try to get some hot cocoa and gingerbread.
I love this, even the elevators are hidden in little hallways.
Covered with frescoes, and check it out. Look how old school and tiny these things are.
Going down.
Look at that.
Look at all the lounges. California Lounge, Presidential Lounge. You got all these restaurants here. Dang. Allie just noticed one of them says cotton candy on it. You want some 4-star gourmet cotton candy? Well, we can definitely look for that. But first, we should probably go back outside and try to get that gingerbread.
Oh, dude, holy cow.
It's getting packed in here.
You see, the Mission Inn is an extremely popular holiday destination in Southern California. People come from hundreds of miles around to see the lights. And actually, as we're standing here, it's a Monday night. And like I said, it's 40 degrees outside, which for these parts is pretty cold, at least in December anyway. Ooh, giant Rubik's Cube. Oh, someone already solved it. And yet still, there are so many people out here. Mariah Carey is bumping out there in the entryway. And as you can see behind me, got all the various palm trees and lights flickering on and off with the music, which of course I can't play you guys. But in addition to the music, there's also artificial snow. Oh my gosh, this is incredible, dude. Look at that. That was crazy. Every so often, by the way, when we walk around, you're gonna see some strands of lights that aren't lit. And that's because when they kick off every year with their lighting ceremony, they have fireworks at the Festival of Lights. And this year, apparently, the fireworks caused a little damage, caused a little small inferno. I was worried that more of the Christmas lights would be out, but it looks like it didn't do too much damage out here. Just a little inferno and a couple of days of rain, but we're still good. We're still good. There are people of every size, shape, description, background. And look at this, all around the perimeter of the building, there are tour buses full of people coming out to see the lights, most of which will end up packed into that lobby we just came out of. In fact, just a few seconds ago, we even saw someone dressed up as the Grinch out here visiting. And you know if the grumpy old Grinch is visiting, it's gotta be good. Dude, this is awesome. It's not just a beautiful old hotel with wonderful holiday lighting right next door to the Mission Inn on Main Street, where the whole downtown mall area is. There are all kinds of little Christmas kiosks, little Christmas booths with kettle corn and treats, roasted almonds and candy. This reminds me of France too, you know, big old hotel and then a bunch of street vendors like this. And plenty of space and places to wander and cuddle, all with the glorious lights and Christmas decorations of the Mission Inn as the backdrop. Look at this. They've got trumpet players out here and light up Christmas toy vendors, a beautiful Christmas tree, plenty of sidewalk dining. This is one of the Mission Inn's restaurants. And look at this. This is behind the St. Francis Chapel, which is way up there. Look at all of those animatronic carolers, like the one by our window on the other side. Look at them all. They're so creepy. On this side, they look pretty good, but on the other side, they look a little different in that context. I'll explain when we get there. Wow, look at all these folks. Anyway, along with all these other attractions out here on the side of Main Street is one vendor that really stands out. It's the gingerbread shop. Look at that. It looks like it came right out of Santa's village. That is so cool looking. It wouldn't matter where this was located. I am 100% sure if we were driving by, Allie would be like, ooh, I want to go. Wouldn't you? And look at that. Look what they got. Cinnamon roll, apple crisp, gingerbread cake, and Coco Loco. Dude, Allie, you totally have to get the Coco Loco, or at least some holiday cookies. Wait a minute. Schnickerdoodle. Yeah, wunderbar. There's just one little problem with our gingerbread shop plan, and that is, look at the size of that line. There's just one little problem with our gingerbread shop plan, and that is, look at the size of that line. It's gotta be that Coco Loco, dude, I'm telling you. Well, nothing to it but to do it. Oh no, your nose is freezing. Oh, weird, actually, that line didn't take very long at all. And look at this, Santa's elves inside have cooked Allie up a Coco Loco. Oh my gosh, that thing is a loco, dude. Look at that. Hot cocoa with marshmallows and whipped cream and a little gingerbread man cookie sticking out. Ooh, and it's even got one of those crazy straws to make that whistling noise once you're done with it. What a fun one. Well, as Allie enjoys her treats, let's make our way around the outside of the Mission Inn once again and check out those decorations in a little more detail. But first, look at this. Look at the trumpet player. His dog is singing along. Is that good? Dude, this is such a crazy building. You have to get kind of far away from it to really take it in. But all of this, everything you can see on that side of the street, from this dome here where we were looking and I was saying there was a suite underneath it, all the way down there. It looks like multiple buildings because it is multiple buildings. There are multiple wings. But as you saw up there on the back side of this facade, they are all connected by crazy walkways. Look at the wild balconies up there that the suites have. Based on our little room, I bet the doors probably open. I bet you could probably actually stand out there. Wow, dude, look at this. Look at Santa and all his reindeer, and look at the size of those nutcrackers up there. Those are easily the size of an average person. And there are tons of them, not just on this side of the street, but across the way there, connected by that little bridge. This is actually part of the Mission Inn as well. You can see several more, and it's not just nutcrackers. Look at that gigantic Christmas train set up there with gingerbread men in tow. This is wonderful, you guys. This is actually a good date, Allie. I didn't know if we needed a room to wander around and explore or not, and kinda you do. They do have tour groups that are going inside of the hotel, like big tour groups, and I wasn't sure how that worked. Like, did you have to pay? Did you have to sign up? Where did you have to go? How far or how long apart are the tours? So that's why I got the room, was to cut through all of that, because seeing all these decorations outside is of course free, and you can see the lobby and go in the restaurants. That beautiful courtyard, or all those beautiful courtyards where we were exploring, and all those little walkways, those are all off limits to the public. Hotel guests only. You have to show your room key to get past the security guards and get upstairs where you can get all up close and personal with Christmas. So if you want the full experience, you've either got to book a tour or get a room. And by the way, even if you get a room, it's still $25 to park in the garage back here. So be prepared. There's still a lot to do and to see out here for free, though. Look at this. Look at the size of those candles. You can't even really see them from the sidewalk. You have to cross the street. Those candles are 2 stories high. Look at the size of them. And you know they're extra big when you look up at the candles. You know, take in their majesty and then let your gaze wander downwards. Look how small Allie looks down there. Hi, Allie. Well, to be fair, Allie looks small all the time. All right, well, anyways, if you look on the left of this building here, you can see that other dome. That's where we were up talking about the suite that my friend had last year, and saw all those fountains. And I can't remember the name of that tower there on the end, but they do all have names. All those courtyards, all the towers and terraces, and they were all built very deliberately and in very different architectural styles by incredibly talented architects, and each one has its own history and distinctive flavor. There's a great lecture online that I believe was put up there by the Pasadena City Library for some reason. I'll put a link to it in the description. You guys should check it out because there's a lot of history to this building. It would take one heck of a thick guidebook for you to walk around and get the story and the inspiration behind every stained glass window and archway. And then you layer all these Christmas decorations on top of that, and this whole place is a serious feast for the eyes. Look at that. Look at that marble carving here. Knowing Frank Miller, that could be from Europe, or it could have been something purpose created for the hotel. It's hard to know. Look at this. Allie just figured out which one of these was our room. You see that upper lady right there? That is the caroler on our balcony. And ooh, look at the goblin caroler below her. Ah! Doesn't she look like one of the little goblins from the Labyrinth? Now this is what I was gonna say when we were on the other side of the building. You remember the carolers over there? They looked natural, they look normal, but look at all of these ones. They're standing on wooden boards sticking out from the balconies. They all look like they're gonna walk the plank, and I can't help but think they all look like they're walking the plank. No! Don't do it! Don't jump! Not at Christmas! Oh, I'm just playing around. There's no pirates behind them. They don't have to jump, but they are pretty precarious looking. Look at those guys singing their hearts out in silence. I wonder what song they're singing. Oh, wait a minute. Duh. Silent Night. Look at over here on this side of the building. You can also see how it changes from one style into another style. It looks like multiple buildings, but again, they're all different phases, all different wings of the same hotel. And it's interesting, the later and later in construction they were, sort of the older and older the buildings they took their inspiration from, the older architectural styles. It's pretty wild, dude. I mean, there are buildings in Southern California and all up and down the state that are similar to this. Obviously, the real missions. This wasn't an actual mission. There are some ornate buildings in Hollywood and places like that from this time period that take similar inspiration for their theme or for their design, but there's nothing quite like the Mission Inn that I have ever seen. We've stayed at a couple of old Harvey houses and old lavish hotels from this time period on Route 66 and in Santa Fe and other places like that. But even those weren't this elaborate. And for Southern California, I mean, this is awesome. And as we'll see when we take a closer look, the rooms are actually really nice. It's not a 4-star hotel for nothing. Without a room, by the way, I'd say the best plan of action would probably be to get here kind of early, find some street parking if you can, and especially if you can't book a tour of the interior, then pad things out by going to one of the restaurants in the inn, you know, and at least see the lobby. I'll be honest with you, when we came in 2020, we were so disappointed that there were no Christmas decorations. Even though I was impressed by the hotel, I really didn't think about it too much in the time since. But now that we've had a chance to sort of rest in our room and wander around this place, I'm like kind of obsessed with it. I will be coming back in a shoulder season when it's a little less expensive so we can check out some other rooms. Maybe a suite, who knows? I wish I knew the owners so I could get the keys to some of the fancy rooms, you know? Oh, we're just gonna come up here and thaw ourselves out and then go back downstairs and get some more treats. Look at this, you guys remember that there were a lot of presidents who have come and stayed at the Mission Inn. Well, one of them, President Taft, was quite a large man. And in several places across America, you'll find these large Taft chairs that he had specially built for him. Look at all the room on my right. I have the same amount of room on my left. Mr. Taft was a big boy. Ooh, look at that. President Taft's chair, October 12th, 1909. Got to see how small Allie looks in this chair. Look at that. Scoot to one side, look at that. You could fit 2 Allies in this chair, maybe 3 Allies. All right, things seem to have calmed down a little. Except the temperature has not calmed down, it's just gone down. And it's fine, I know a lot of you are out there living in -10 going, come on, 39 degrees ain't bad. But it is when you don't have proper winter clothing on. It also is when it goes down from 70 degrees. Remember, it's not how low the temperature is, sometimes it's how far it drops. Okay, we only have a little bit of time out here. A little bit of time, we're gonna cruise next door, get one more round of provisions. Allie says she's had enough Coco Loco for one night, so we're going for the kettle corn. Now, poor Allie couldn't eat kettle corn all during the worst part of her illness for the past year. Especially when they cut apart her intestines and she had all the gear on her and stuff. No corn allowed. So she's making up for lost time. Look at that. Kettle corn and cheddar cheese. Ooh, gourmet. Enchanté. Whew. Yeah, it is gorgeous out here, but it is cold. Just had to make sure we grabbed some of this before everything closes up for the night, you know? Oh, by the way, the Mission Inn also has a museum. Look at it. It's right there. The Mission Inn Museum. There are so many cool shops across the street. Antique stores. There's a lot of stuff in downtown Riverside. Dang it. We'll have to come back. What a fun one, gang. What a fun one. Now, I'm told fancy restaurants here at the Mission Inn have got gluten-free food, or at least they've got chefs who can supposedly make gluten-free food. As you know, I have celiac disease, but I wasn't feeling the prices or the fanciness tonight. I'm sort of underdressed, and I was just gonna not eat until we got home. By the way, strobe warning over here. But apparently Allie really wants me to eat, and so she's ordered me a pizza. We're just gonna wait for it to show up and then head back inside. Oh, this is weird. Look. Another Allie. Get it? Get it? All right, look at this. Never had one of these before. Look at this. Everybody left. That's how you know it's cold. It's not even really late yet. It's just freezing. It's just before 9 o'clock. I cannot wait to get inside and eat some of this. Look at that elf, though, up there. That elf is awesome. I want elves like that in front of my house. Oh, yeah, that is so much warmer, so much better. Mucho mejor. Bueno. Let's eat. Woo. Look at this. A whole pizza just for me. Oh. I'm so full of pizza now. Well, we ruffled up the bed and messed up the room a little just by eating some pizza in here. Je mange une pizza. Beaucoup. But you can still get a pretty good idea of what it looks like in here. Look at this. This is incredible. Not only are there wood beam ceilings, which I imagine back in the day must have been natural wood and not painted, but look at the sort of shape of the ceiling over here. Look at the archway entrance. This doesn't seem like a strictly necessary detail. This is just all about the crazy luxury, the theming of the rooms. And let's not forget this is the most basic room. And look at this. Look at all the ironwork, the custom stuff made just for this hotel. Take, for example, these big cast iron hinges. You know they're custom made for this place because they have the Mission Inn logo right here in the center. And even the bathroom door is all crazy designed and themed. I've never made a door before, but this makes me want to try. Look at the lintel up here, this little shelf. This is so cool. There's nothing basic about this at all. Nice modern sink, which is really nice because sometimes in these restored hotels, you'll have original fixtures, which are neat, but not necessarily nice. A nice gold-framed mirror here, plenty of light. Ooh, look at the monogram towels. We've got a chair for you to do special things on. Beautiful tile work here, not just here, but also in the bathtub. And that, like I said earlier, is a special feature to us because we do not have a bathtub at home. No, we don't. Ooh, and look at this. You got your palace, shampoos and whatever. But little Mission Inn branded stuff. You got dental rinse, shower cap, a vanity kit. Oh, I'd love to use this, but I'm not vain enough. And a shave kit. Finally, I can be a swimmer. Outside the commode closet. Look at how beautiful this room is. You come out of this arched entryway here, the wood beam ceilings, like I mentioned before. And same as the front door and the bathroom door, you have a different set of cast iron hinges. Look at that fancy lintel above the doorway. This is just a closet, which does have a room safe in it, which is handy if you're Teddy Roosevelt. But it also has all of our junk in here, so don't look at that. Ironing board, standard hotel closet stuff. The funky part is up above the extra blankets in here. You've got this little painted window. It's not stained glass, like it's not lead, that is paint. Not sure why you need a window in the closet, maybe you don't need it. But look at that, look how cute it is. I guess it lets in a little bit of light, particularly back before you had electricity or light bulbs in the closet, and this one doesn't even have one. Kind of a handy feature. Inside the drawers next to the bed, the Gideons have been here. Fancy modern phone. Speaking of modern conveniences, there is a television over there with a remote. And then in this cabinet here, they do have a fridge, which comes in handy. And then on the other side, there's kind of the equipment to have sort of like a little mini bar here and snacks and stuff like that. There aren't any snacks in this cabinet, but there are snacks you can buy in the room. I'll show you in a second. Look at this window over here. Look at this little area. You've got these strange bars, and then this is where I sat and ate my pizza. I just set the box down right here. It's kind of a cool little reading nook, and look at that arched ceiling above it. Fancy gold curtains and everything. I'll show you what this looks like with the lights off in a second. But speaking of nooks, if we come around the corner past the bed over here, Allie is checking out her phone, and she was reading a book over here in the little book nook. Look at this little area. Gotta step back for a second so I can show you. Look at the way this area too has a little curved ceiling, a little archway over there. It's so cute, especially with the Christmas lights outside the window. What were you just saying to me a second ago?
This is my favorite spot.
Yeah, you just want a little spot like this in our house, don't you? If we owned it, I'd build you one. All we would need to buy the house we live in is $1 million or so. Thanks, Southern California. Look at this. They've got some free magazines if you forgot a book. Inland Empire magazine. That's the name of this sort of area in Southern California. And then over here, for some reason, not in that cabinet, but on this desk, maybe some people just don't look in the cabinet. They've got a bunch of little treats, which if you break the label and eat them, they charge your card that you checked in with. And it's not cheap. For example, this Fiji water here, $4.50 if you crack that seal. The gourmet trail mix is $9.95. Seems reasonable. The thing is, if you have the money, like this is a cheap hotel to you kind of a deal, then it's no big deal to crack open these cookies. Or maybe like if your company is paying for it or something like that, you're like, all right, cookies, only $8.95. Put it on my tab. The yummy gummies, I think, might be the most expensive one. These aren't funny gummies or anything. They're just regular gummy bears. They are $10.95. And I'm getting all these prices off the little price list here at the desk, and ooh, something's missing here because according to this somewhere, there's an aromatherapy candle. Only $42. 42 bucks, Allie, and it could smell like roses in here. Oh wait, I see. It says ask the front desk for this item. Anyway, that might seem crazy if you're not used to coming to places like this, but I've been in quite a few fancy hotels in Las Vegas or like the Plaza in New York or something, and that's pretty standard as far as pricing goes. Now, when I'm on my own dime like this, I never crack these seals open, but I have been a guest of others and got to imbibe before, and they're like, no problem. So there are people who are like, $10.95 for gummies? Okay. I mean, if you're really hungry and you don't want to take that cold walk to 7-Eleven, probably worth it, I guess. What did you just say?
I said I feel like you could Uber Eats that for cheaper.
Well, that's a good point. But then you'd have to go in the lobby. What if you ripped your pants or something?
They might bring it to your room.
Oh, that's true. Anyway, you got your standard little card telling you about the restaurants and stuff like that. Little reading lamp over here. Ooh, fancy. I bet Ronald Reagan touched this lamp. Wow! It's a Gipper lamp! Well, Nancy. Look at this little window over here looking at these Christmas lights. You can see they used to have the painted logo of the Mission Inn right here, and here's some lead here. These are really old panes of glass. Like if you poke them too hard, you can feel them moving. So there's a lot of original elements to this hotel, even though the rooms have been extensively remodeled starting in 1992 and, you know, periodically since then. I feel like standing with my face above the lamp, I'm like telling ghost stories.
The ghost of Richard Nixon's in the hotel. Pat, where's my dollar?
And then, of course, the balcony that I showed you earlier. Look at that cool latch right there. That is so awesome. Oh, startled me again. Oh, I just noticed there is a little porch light out there for the balcony. Of course, in the old days, before air conditioning, you might have wanted this balcony to sit out here of an evening. And obviously back in the day when everybody smoked and nobody cared if you smoked in hotels, people would want to come out here and smoke. Ah, that startled me too. Nowadays, they don't let you smoke or carry on the patios or sleep out here or anything, probably. But you could still come out here and lean over and mock pedestrians. Sacre bleu! I spit on you! Ha 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 ha! Je suis américain!
Ah, tu parles français?
Non, je mange une pizza. Forgot how cold it is out there. Anyway, it's great. It really does remind me of the California missions, especially because they have these little alcoves, like you'd put a statue of a saint in, and just the furniture, the decor feels fancy like the rest of the hotel. This isn't original furniture, obviously, but overall, I would say this feels very clean, which is the most important thing, right? Like all hotels clean up, but a lot of older hotels, they just feel dirty or they feel run down. It doesn't have that feeling. It feels historic. It doesn't feel brand new. But if I was checking in here after a long day on the road, I wouldn't regret it the way I do some motels. I wouldn't be like, oh, I wish I stayed in a Holiday Inn Express or anything. As for the 4 stars, I don't know if they have room service or anything. I didn't see anything about that. I'm sure we could call the front desk and find out. With so many restaurants in the hotel, usually it's the kind of thing where you could order from the restaurants while they're open and they'll come deliver it to the room. So there's a good chance that you could order food up here. And look at this royal chair that they give you next to the TV. You could sit here and be like, oh, very nice room. Look at me, I have a chair. King in the castle, king in the castle. All in all, pretty sweet. And the hotel is so interesting. This is a pretty sweet date setup. Come out here, spend a little cash, get a hotel room, get cozy, get some food, some cattle corn. Look at yourself in the mirror, tell yourself how handsome you are. My mom says I'm handsome. Enjoy the very loud air conditioning, which is obviously added in later, so you know they gotta work with what they got. Have the peace of mind of fire sprinklers. Ooh, look at that sconce sliding. Oh, how bougie. All in all, this is a pretty sweet setup right here. Not bad. If you're in the Southern California area, it's pretty much an hour from anywhere, really. The Mission Inn would make a great day date during the other seasons and a great night date or a great overnight stay. Obviously, for Christmas. I don't know if they do any ghost tours here. I'll have to look into that, but it's definitely the type of place where you can be pretty sure something like that happens. Bye, Allie. Enjoy your cubby over there. You just like cubbies, don't you? Anyway, it's the kind of hotel that you definitely expect spirits to be present in. Ooh, I don't even want to talk softly in here because it echoes and carries through the whole hallway. Even without the paranormal element, they definitely do historic tours of the property every so often. And like I mentioned, they do have a museum here as well, with so many balconies and interesting old relics everywhere. Alcoves with artwork in them and twists and turns. Just look at this. Look at all of this. There is a lot to do here just by way of exploring the hotel. So many nooks. So many crannies. There's more crannies here than you find on your granny. Like, look at that down there. It's just a weird, cozy little reading nook right here by the lobby. As I mentioned, I do want to come back very much. Every floor here is packed with so many different things that anyone into adventuring, exploring, history is pretty much guaranteed to have a great time here. But as for right now, we've seen a lot and we've done a lot. And this episode is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Just check this out at night now that there aren't people roaming around. And the Courtyard Christmas music is turned off. We've got the whole upstairs to ourselves, it feels like. This is just
gorgeous out here. Christmas or no.
Ooh, I just realized I have a way to peer into the Asian courtyard I was telling you about earlier. Let's go over there.
And then we're gonna have to make our departure, my friends. We'll have to end our little soiree together. Because although it has been, just like every other adventure we go on, a lot of stinking fun.
After Allie's bonus bath here,
We're gonna have to be making our way home. It's crazy that all these courtyards are upstairs, and then there's so much built up higher than that. Oh, I love this place. It's awesome.
shout out to Ken Stack of Stack's Liberty Ranch. Great series of books over on the Stack's Liberty Ranch website, by the way.
All theme park history related, for always badgering me to come check out the Mission Inn. Look at the woodwork up here.
It's one of those places I have meant to come for years and years because people are always saying how much I would love it.
And it's one of those places where I have to admit they were absolutely correct.
Except that hole. I do not love leaning over that hole.
But how incredible is that? You ever seen anything like that anywhere else in California?
Here it is. There's a little balcony.
That overlooks the courtyard. I can't remember the name of it, but as you can see, look at that. All of a sudden, Asian architecture. How cool is that? And how unexpected.
This place is full of surprises, and the best part is, I know
There's even more to discover next time. Okay, guys, I'm gonna make my way down this thing. Oh, it's so narrow. Oh boy. Make my way down this thing in absolute terror as it happens. I'm just gonna try to stick to the outside. Oh no, then I can see it. Oh, and look at the way there's nothing underneath the stairs. This is like an M.C. Escher painting. And eventually, hopefully, I'll make it back
to our room where I can collect Allie and our stuff.
get back home. Thank you guys so much for watching us and joining us this holiday season on all these adventures.
If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends. I don't ask that often. You'll notice at the front of these adventures, I don't go hit the subscribe, smash the like before we go into it.
But of course, I would really appreciate it if you'd not just do those things, but share it with someone you think would like it.
And I have to mention, contractually speaking, it's a contract with myself.
Oh Lord, that these are all fan-funded adventures by Patreon, where we have podcasts and other videos.
And for the Adventurers Club members, we've got daily vlogs and all kinds of stuff.
Oh my gosh, there's still so much more to go.
Anyway, there's also our sick merch, store.randomland.com, where you can get the Kindred Spirit Adventure hat.
And that's it. That's all I've got to say.
Just a few more precarious steps here. Just a little bit more vertigo.
And since we're not going down to the basement level,
Finally,
we've made it. We've done our duty.
We can go home and
Sleep well. Well, that is, if I ever find a way out of here. I'm lost.
seriously, I couldn't find a way out. I gotta go all the way back up.
See you next time. Stairs. I hate stairs. Oh, I hate them. Oh, especially scary stairs with nothing underneath and the vertigo. I'm not afraid of heights exactly.
I'm just afraid of plummeting from them. Whoa.
Oh, never again.
The mission in. The mission in. The mission in.
Ooh, secret stairway. Wait a minute. But the, but, 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 but I, but, is it, what? Oh, thanks for watching to the very end. You guys are part of the All the Way to the End Club.
And now you've done your duty, too. You can actually go home and sleep well.
Why am I talking so creepy?
Merry Christmas, folks.
Aw, what the front door? I didn't know this was here. Look at this cool patio. This would have been good during the Festival of Lights stuff. Well, next time.
Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. Look at this. This is randomly on a different floor. What is this? Man, this is some twisted stuff.
What the heck? Just keeps going.
And then what's that? Captain Nemo's door?
Bilbo? Are you in there?
It's time to suit up. No, zip up. It's time to zip up. Ooh.
Hi there, you ever seen these? Click on this or this or this or this. You can click on stuff here. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, they have this little way for you to click on stuff. You can check it out. Check out some other stuff, you know, get a little more viewing going on or some merch or whatever. Or check the description now. That's a good idea. Uh-oh, our time's almost over. Goodbye.